Hi, this is Everett, Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to Simply Drawing with Everett. I'm broadcasting live tonight from Chesapeake, Virginia. I'm going to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitch. And I'll be doing a replay on Instagram. And I'm in the studio tonight with my wife, Gloria.
Hello.
And she'll be monitoring the broadcast. I got the chat room on live. So if you have any questions or any comments during the broadcast, please let me know. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, well tonight I'm going to do a drawing class with a little demonstration. I'm going to use, we're going to do a line and wash drawing. Okay, and I'm going to use some special tools for that. So let me go over to my drawing table and let me get started. So that's the subject I'm looking at. It's an old barn. I go by this quite often. I have drawn it quite a few times myself, and then I've done some sketches and so forth. So this is something I want to use tonight as an example for line and wash. So what I want to do here is the tools I'm going to use right now. I'm going to take my citing pencil, the old standard number 2 lead pencil, and do some citing. And the first thing I do is I want to get some relative measurements here. I'm going to take let's see. Let's take the height from the peak down to the base. That's one measurement right there. And let's compare that with let's say from this side. Well, that side there is equal. So that from the right side to the peak, that's the same length. Now let's go from the peak to the other side. Well, it just runs a little bit short of that, but just a little bit over. So we can estimate that dimension right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start making some lines on my pad. Sketch paper is regular, plain old sketch paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark a base, and I'm going to show. This is a little bit smaller than the photograph, but I want it to fit on this. This is a 10 by 7 piece of sketch paper. So I want that to fit on this picture. So I've measured this off, and like I say, if I take the same proportions from that direction there, I take that direction there.
We're not seeing all the photo.
I don't need the photo. I'm going to just show. I'm going to take that dimension there, which I took from the peak, this peak here. Let me put this on top. Okay, you can see both sides. I'm trying to get I'm going to do a rough reference here with a pencil before I do any further drawing. But I'm taking a measurement here from the base to the peak, and I've made that estimate there from the peak out to here is the same dimension. So I picked a dimension here, which is less. And so therefore here's I've made an arbitrary mark up here for the peak. So I'm going to go ahead and take that measurement and come over here. Now I can find the right edge. Okay, that's my right edge. Now remember before I said if you take that same dimension from the photograph and you go from the peak out to here, it's a little bit longer than the right side. It's out to the side here. So I can take the same dimension here and go out and go just a little bit beyond that over to here. So that would give me the rough baseline of the actual photograph. Now another dimension I think I want to take is let's take a look at is there any sections I can think of? Well, there's a section here from the right side to the right side of the just below the peak here. Let's measure that. Let's take that. And that's the same as this section here. And take this, so I can break it up into thirds. So there's a third. From here to here is 1/3. From here to here is 2/3. And from here to here is whole. So 1, 2, 3. So I can break this line up into thirds. I can break this line up into thirds. Give me a rough here. 1, 2, 3. A little bit shorter. 1, 2, 3. That's about right. So I can put 1/3 right here and come over and make another mark right here. Okay, so what I've located now on my drawing is I've located the peak, I located the base, and both ends, and the section here in the middle, which is very important. Now the roof height, I'm going to just have to estimate that. Let's say if I come, this goes up here. These are the two sections here in the front. I say the front part of the building. Just right by alongside of the doorway there. This side right here up to the edge of the roof, up here up to the edge of the roof. I've got that line right there. Now what I can do is I can estimate that. I do a little. I can measure the angle. So it's going to go up a little bit higher. Okay, so I get the angle of that, and this angle over here. So okay, I roughed that in. All right, and then I know this section over here is a wall on the right side. And then this comes down. This roof line comes down here, and you notice the angle here is steeper angle here than here. And over here now, I'll get this section. I can bring this wall up, the same as this one, and I can draw that line in from the corner. I can get this line in here at the corner of the roof here, up to the edge. So I'm just doing a rough pencil drawing, just to get the measurements in. Okay, I got a little overhang here. Okay, now I got to get the roof line. The roof line, I can get the angle. And you see the back of the roof, it goes down about past this part here, so I can bring that up about like that, and that's going to slope down about a 45-degree angle, about parallel with the front line. That slope there, okay, it's coming along. I'm getting a rough estimate here, and then the roof is going to go down here. This is going to go out on the bottom, and it slopes down. I can estimate that, and that slope there is going to be much. See, this slope here angle here is much steeper than this angle here, just like it is on the other side. Okay, so I've got the rough end right there, and the back wall here is it goes back a little bit, doesn't go level. Okay. All right, so I've got the outline roughed in now of I've taken the general dimensions and got the outline going. Now I'm going to go ahead and start sketching now. Now what I'm going to do tonight on my line work, I'm going to use acrylic ink, and I'm going to use a dip pen. So the dip pen consists of a nib, of a metal nib made out of steel. And there's all sizes and so on. And this is the nib holder, and that fits into the nib holder. Let me get it going here. Pushes right in. Okay, so that's going to be my drawing instrument. Okay, and then I'm going to use the nib and the nib holder. This is what I'm going to draw with, and I'm going to use some acrylic ink. This is made out of Holbein. This is Holbein. And the reason I'm using this is waterproof. Okay. Now you can usually use a waterproof pen. A Sharpie is also waterproof. So you can use anything that's waterproof, because I'm going to put a wash over top of this, and I don't want it to run. But I'm going to go ahead and use the acrylic ink because it's waterproof. So I'm going to put it into this little tray over here that I have, little ceramic tray. Put that aside. Move this down here. Okay, so I've got a tray. So I got my photograph here, my drawing, and I'm going to just go start sketching. So the first thing, I dip this into the dip pen. This is interesting now. Instead of using a regular pen, the dip pen, you load it up by dipping into the well. And then I'm going to start down here at the bottom. And the thing I like about dip pens is it's uneven lines, and you're going to get skips and jumps. But that's the nice thing about a pen work, because it doesn't have to be equal. It doesn't have to be even and so forth. I'm going to get the peak in. So the sketch here is going to be a sketch of this building, and I can see here, if you look at the photograph, this section here is lower than that section there. It's not parallel with the bottom here. It's a little bit higher up, and that's just what I drew. Okay, I'll bring that down. This has a little border to it. Okay, and I'm not going to get exact lines. I don't what I hear. Instead of having a nice smooth line, I'm going to give it just a little bend, because this is an old building. I'm going to give it a little character. And same with this part back here. I'm going to give it a little character. And that's also got an edge to it. Okay, all right. Then I can build this roof over here. I can get the side. I can sketch that in, and then the roof goes underneath the eave here, and I draw a straight line, and that's a border. I'll do another line. That's the top of got a little roof to it, and then over here, this goes underneath, and it goes to the edge of the side over here. And this comes down. Okay, then the back part of this roof comes out, and it's almost parallel with this one. I'll give a little dip. I like a little dip in this one too. I don't like this old barn. I can make a little character out of it, and it drops off. This also has a second line on it. Okay, and it goes underneath. Okay, then the back wall goes underneath. There's an overhang. It's vertical, and then it slopes forward because it's in perspective. The front wall is closer, so it's higher, it's longer. As you go back behind the building, it gets a little shorter back there. Okay, now let's get the windows and stuff in. The windows, you can see this one is not exactly in the center of this section. The section I'm looking at is the one from the corner here to this corner here. So it's about 2/3 of the way over, so it's about right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a couple lines in there. And it's got a border on it, so I can go ahead and put a border on it. Just rough it in. Okay, that's the window. Then the doorway, it's right in this, just about in the center of almost in the center, a little bit below this corner here. So I can come across here. And it's at an angle, it's not straight up and down. I'm going to make it's leaning a little bit, because this building is, I think it's falling down, but that's good. Give it a little character. So it's going to lean. I'm going to make it lean just a little bit. So I'll build this. I dip in, dip it again. The only disadvantage with that, you got to dip it in once in a while, but this will hold quite a good load of ink. Okay, and over here is another window. Now let's take this one. This one here is about again, from this corner to this corner, it's about 1/3 of the way over. So I can go about right here, and it also is an angle. I'm going to mark that in. And it's not quite as low as the door jamb or a door base, so put that in. And look at the windows. There's also a divider here. I can put a divider across here, and there's also a divider here. And it's got a border around it. I'll put that in. Okay, then the four wall. There's looks like a little trap door or something on this side, so I can come over. It let's see, it's about halfway. It's in the center of this section right here, but it's got leaning more toward the window. So I can come up here about here, and then it has a little angle to it, and then bring it down. It has, now it's got like a doorway or partial door or trap. This must be a door, but it no longer works as a door. Okay. Okay, that's I got all the information I need. I got the shape of the building, I got the windows, the doors, and so forth. Okay, now it's time to have some fun with the painting. So what I'll do before I let my what I'll do, wipe off the pen, because I don't want that ink to dry on this, because it's acrylic and it'll dry hard. So acrylic is just like any other, like acrylic paint, it'll dry hard. Okay, I'm going to put the pen away. So that's the pen drawing. That's the pen ink or dip. That's the dip pen drawing of the building. Okay, and I remember I went ahead and I started with dimensions. It's not exactly the same size, but I took proportions and transferred them to a drawing, measuring different areas relative to the other. But I think you can see I got a pretty good representation of that building there. It pretty well lines up with the shape of the roof. The windows are okay, so it's ready to put some paint on it. So what I'm going to do is put this aside with my ink and so forth, and I'm going to bring out my. This is my travel palette. This is called Everett's Travel Kit, and it has a palette in it with three colors, and it comes with a. It comes with a visual journal, which is this last weekend on the 30th. See, New Year's Eve. I drew this actual. That's what I did on site. I drew the building here on location, looking outside the car window. Okay, so I did that drawing just by observing, and I did the same thing with a pencil. I've sighted in with a pencil, got the shapes and sizes, just like I did here on the photograph. Get the measurements, get the proportions, and so forth. So that's a drawing I did in my visual journal that I sketched I also used the ink pen on that, because I wanted to get a little practice on doing that one. So the travel kit itself comes with a visual journal, which has 68 pages. It comes with a flat and a round brush, 1/2 inch flat and a number 6 round brush, and then it has 3 colors: red, yellow, and blue. The red is a pyro red, the blue is ultramarine blue, and the yellow is lemon yellow. And it comes with a spray bottle. Comes with a dot spray bottle, palette in the bottle. Dot spray bottle sold exclusively on Everett's Watercolors. And then it even comes with a little carrying case with my logo on there. Okay, so that's what the kit is. It's in my website supply page, everettswatercolors.com. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this up. All I need is a little tub of water. I'll use my water bucket here. And I'll use a paper towel in case I need it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put in I'll mix the color now. Because I have the 3 primary colors, I'm going to take the red, mix it in with a little bit of yellow. That'll make an orange. And then I add a little bit of blue to that, and it'll turn that into brown. So right there, I've just about made, that's just about burnt sienna. That's a burnt sienna color right there. Now I'll mix a little bit, I'll make a bigger batch because I'm going to cover the whole front of the building with this. So put a little more red in there, a little more yellow in there, get a nice brown color. A little more blue to tone it down. Okay, that's burnt sienna right there. That's burnt sienna right out of the tube. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go in here and I'm going to paint the side of the building. Now, what I'm doing now is just putting in the paint. I'm just going. This is a sketch. This is the wash part. The drawing was done with a dip pen. And I can go ahead and add a little. I just picked up a little more red in the brush to make it a little brighter. Don't make it too bright. And I can pick up some yellow. Pick up some yellow, turn it into an orange, a little more orange. So I'm going to multicolor. Doesn't have to be. This is where you have fun. After you do the drawing, then you break out your paints, either watercolor paints, acrylics. You can do it with watercolor pencils. You can do it with colored pencils. Anything at all that has colors. Colored pens, colored pencils, crayons. You just have a good time. I'll put a little red over here also. Just a little. Put red down in this section. Don't want to copy the other side. So what I'm doing now, I'm just going around, just painting in the main parts of the front part of this building, and making it colorful. I'll add a little blue in here. Just going to make it a little bit darker up here. There's a little shadow coming out of the roof. I put that blue in with that yellow. It gives me a little bit of green mixture. Okay. Now, if I wanted to wipe that out a little bit, if it's too dark, then I just go in there, take some of that lighter color, warmer color, go in there and paint it again. As long as the paint's still wet, you can go in and add color to it. As long as the pigment's still wet, you can go in and add more color. When it's dry, then you can color it in layers, but here you won't interfere with the original colors that's on there. Okay, all right. Okay, and that color's done. Let's do now. We'll do the rooftop. I'm going to use a blue. In the photograph, it was in the shade, and I can use that color. So, and here I'm going to make a little rough area, and then pick up some more blue. Finish off this. So the sketch part, the drawing part, is done with a permanent pen. Permanent ink. And I used a dip pen for this particular case here, and then with the permanent ink you can paint over it. It won't run. It won't run on you. If you didn't use permanent ink, then the ink would start bleeding all over the place. Okay. Now another thing I can do.
But you can use colored pencils.
Use colored pencils. You can use watercolor pencils. You can use anything at all with color. You can use colored crayons. You know, whatever color medium you have. I'm showing tonight. I'm showing the watercolor, and I'm showing the. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the dip pen again, and I'm going to shade in these the shadows in the windows here. So here I can use this to put in the dark. I could use the black paint in fact I will. I think I'll just use this a little bit here just to demonstrate. I can use a dip pen to also put in some shading. I'm really fascinated. I've got a small collection of dip pens, and I just love to work with them. They're good for drawing, but they're so expressive. I just like the way you can just mark in there, and you don't have to be very exact. Just give it an artistic look, very artistic. Okay, that's enough on that one. So what I'll do now, I'm gonna mark up those windows a little bit. I've got I think I'll use my other brush. Where'd it go? I lost my brush. Oh, there it is. Okay, I laid it down on the side. So I'm going to take the blue. Now I take the ultramarine blue. That's a dark blue. Now if I want to lighten that up, what I'm going to do is put a little bit of white. I have white on my palette here also. I added white and black to the to my palette so I can go in and modify the colors I have. So in this case here, I'm making a blue. These are those for windows and for this little doorway over here. And I think this doorway here, I'm going to use the black ink for the doorway. I'm going to go ahead and do I'm using watercolor now. Watercolor, And this has a little shadow on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here dark, come down the side. Okay, all right. Let that kind of sit there for a minute. And I got one more color to put in. That's red. So I'm going to put the red. You notice the original color on this barn was red on the trim. So I'm going to go ahead and put the original color in. So I'm going to put the red in here. This is pyro red. That'll really give us some color. Take away that white color of the paper, and that helps. It'll help dress this sketch up a little bit. I think this right here, just putting this red here, really makes this little sketch jump out. Get your attention. Okay. Now, along with that color, now what I want to do now is take that doorway that I had here. There's a little shadow inside, so I'm going to go ahead, just take what's there on a wet brush, just bring that over right there. Okay. Now the only color I didn't have here to play with is a little bit of green. I'm going to put some green grass here in the front. So I'm going to wash out my palette a little bit, take off some of that mixture. And I'm going to go over here to this side, and I'll take I can mix that. See that I can make green out of black and yellow. That's an amazing composition right there. Lemon yellow mixed with black. I can make a green out of that. So down here I'm going to make a little green grass in the foreground. Okay, and there are some trees in the background. I'll put just a touch of little green back in here. There was some greenery in the background. You can see that from the photograph. And then I can take the other brush with a little darker brown. Put some more blue in there. And I can go ahead and put in some trees. Trees in the background, okay? I'll put one over here. Indicator it's in the wood. The wood's in the background there. Bring this one down. Okay. Let me finish off some more of that. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that more green in there. A little more green over here. Okay. All right. That completes the line and wash sketch of the old barn that I found along the road. So that was my beginning point. I saw the barn. I said, wow, I can draw that one. Then I showed you how to get proportions, how to draw it, get this together. We'd take a pencil and measure some proportions, then draw the outline. And then I took a pen, a waterproof pen, which is the dip pen, and I drew the barn with all the lines and so forth. Then I took the watercolor and then added some color to it. And I think that turned out to be really exciting. And it does, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. That's called a line and wash sketch drawing. Okay. Let me take you back to my main camera. Okay. You look at me, I'm standing up again. I was standing up to move my arms and so forth around. Okay, that concludes tonight's sketch on the line drawing and wash. And I think you'd find that very interesting, especially with a dip pen. You might try that out. Either a ink pen with permanent ink in it, Ballpoints would work. Not ballpoints. I'm talking about a fountain pen with permanent ink is okay, or a dip pen if you have one. And these are very inexpensive. They're very inexpensive to find them. You can find them in some art stores, or you can find them online. But they're not that expensive at all to get a simple set, a nib, a couple nibs, a nib holder, and a bottle of waterproof ink. And you can have a blast with it. It's such a free moving sketch. The ink just flows everywhere. You can be very calligraphic. You can just be very artistic with your brush work and your pen work. Okay, I really enjoyed that. And I welcome you back for next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. for another Drawing with Everett. And hope to see you then. I'll be here also next Thursday at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll do my watercolor demonstration. And you're welcome to see that also. So in the meantime, you all have it. Also, it's a good, happy New Year to everyone. And you all stay safe out there. And I'll see me on my next video.